Each and every day that passes, and we witness the momentum and the energy of the Kamala Harris campaign, along with Tim Walz, we're seeing Donald Trump's support that was once there when he was running against Joe Biden disintegrate. And it's disintegrating among groups that have been reliable and loyal to Donald Trump. Remember that moment after the Nevada primary in 2016 when Donald Trump got up on the stage and listed all the groups that he did really well with? And he was like, and I love the poorly educated. Remember that? If not, I'm sure you do, but here's a reminder.
We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
I love the poorly educated. Also, as an aside, do you notice how much different Donald Trump is today than he was then? I mean, that was 8 years ago. It's stark. The contrast between the degradation mentally, the delirium that he seems to be finding himself in constantly. He was a different character, just as hateful, just as fearful, just as weak, just as ego-driven, but just a diminished version. Well, speaking of the poorly educated, he right now is suffering massive deficits of support among white, non-college educated individuals. I'm going to play a clip here of a brief conversation between Aaron Burnett of CNN and Harry Enton, who came from 538. He's their statistics maven. He's the guy who breaks down the numbers. And he, not just about poorly educated here, he gives a very stark and scary forecast for what is happening right now. Now, it's two things. One, it's Donald Trump support just tanking because people are sick of his games. They're tired of the nonsense. It's not new. There's nothing new, and people they have no tolerance for it anymore. But the other thing, that's what I talked about last week, the reason the Trump campaign is fearful right now is that the support for Harris is like a rocket ship. It is just going to continue to grow the more people become accustomed with her message, with her policy, and get to know her and Tim Walz. Watch Harry Enton explain what's going down in the polls right now.
We know, obviously, you look at the overall polls, you see these swing state polls, the ones over the weekend from Siena did stand out. We'll see if that's really where this goes. But you found something very interesting in terms of one group that stands out.
White working class voters, white voters without a college degree. That is Donald Trump's core group. That was the reason why he was able to break down that giant blue wall, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, in the Great Lakes. And look at their support now versus where we were a few months ago when the matchup was between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Look, Donald Trump still leads, but look at that margin. It has shrunk significantly. It was 25 points back in May. It is now 14 points now here in August, nearly been sliced by half. Those numbers that Harris is putting up amongst that group right now are actually slightly better than Joe Biden did 4 years ago amongst those voters in those key states. Those are the types of numbers that Kamala Harris needs to put up in order to win. And of course, Joe Biden was like, I don't want to drop out of the race because I'm not sure that Kamala Harris can break in with this group, but it turns out she absolutely can.
Which is fascinating because originally when they started, right, it was an immediate map expansion. They started looking at Georgia, North Carolina even. Not giving up, but it seemed like sort of accepting that conventional wisdom. Correct. And now it's fascinating that may not be the case. So also the economy. When we look at that, we just were talking about that. That's an issue Trump has been extremely strong on. Is that changing?
It is. I mean, again, look, we're still looking at Trump having a clear advantage amongst white working class voters in, the Great Lake battleground states. But again, the margin is shrinking, and elections are all about margins. You see it shrinking. You had a 36-point advantage in May. It's now down to 24 points here in August. These are the types of numbers that Kamala Harris needs to put up. And more than that, it's about the economy. This is also a change election, and it's also about change as well. And she's breaking through among white working class voters on the issue of change. So the economy and change working for her cohesively.
You're talking about Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. There, obviously, those are crucial. That's that blue wall. But when you look more broadly, does this tip the scale as you look at other crucial must-win states?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Non-college whites are a key group across the board. They are a plurality of voters in the electorate when you compare them with college-educated whites or if you compare them with African Americans and Hispanics, and especially in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, look at that. They're the majority of voters. The fact that Harris is closing in on Trump with them is the big reason why she has those advantages she has now in those New York Times Siena College
Absolutely
polls.
fascinating, and not what probably anybody expected, certainly from what Joe Biden was saying.
But a welcome thing for Democrats, definitely.
And it is a welcome thing for Democrats because of this. Those aren't just percentages. When you look at, in May, he was up 25 points with white, non-college educated, or as he would put it, poorly educated. Now it's 14. That gulf of 11 points, those are voters. Those are votes. And if he is hemorrhaging that kind of number, it's only good for Democrats. And it is a disaster for Donald Trump because the margins, especially in these states, remember the margins that he won Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania in 2016, or even in 2020. I mean, it was razor thin. So if he's losing 12 points, 9 points, or even on the economy, this other 36 and 24, those are thousands and thousands. Those represent thousands and thousands of votes. It is not good for Donald Trump. And it only speaks to the testament of the energy and the messaging of the Kamala Harris campaign. They're getting through to people. People are either just tired of Donald Trump's bullshit, or the message, or maybe some combination of the two, but the message, the policy prescriptions of Democrats are really ringing through, and they're here for it. So look, all of this is good news. Obviously, polls are just a moment in time snapshot. It's not like the election is tomorrow. All kinds of stuff can happen between now and then. All kinds of dirty tricks from Donald Trump and his goons like Roger Stone. There will be all of that to contend with. But right now, take a breath, celebrate a little bit. Going into the convention, which there's going to be another boost from, it's only good news for Democrats and bad news for Donald Trump and the xenophobic parade of idiots that are still clinging on to a lack of message, a lack of coherent policy on the part of Donald Trump. Anyway, what do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. You can email me daily at Dollemore.com. You can comment below and have a conversation with your fellow viewers. Leave a comment. It'll help the algorithm. If you want to help support this work, I would appreciate you considering it very much. For $2 a month, you can help me produce these videos. Click the join button below, see what's involved to become a channel member. Go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. These are all great ways to support. Make sure you're subscribed. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore everywhere. And I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.